Yeah. As I got another rhyme, another rhythm for y'all to listen. I'm never quitting on my mission. I'ma roll with what I'm giving. Got some ambition, this new edition, filling positions. Looking at the void in myself and feeling what's missing. Better watch the way you going, better go in the right direction. In the moment you stressing, but you gon' be counting blessings. And I know that for certain. Keep on working, open curtains, haters swerving, cause they ain't ready for your final version. I'm never gonna give up. Fall down, I just gotta get up, yeah. Cause this is my road.
Listening to the Tom Ficklin Show on WNHH LP 103.5 FM. Your home.
And everyone, again, this is the Tom Ficklin Radio Show, and it's February 21st, 2022. This is a historic show for a variety of reasons, but we're talking about historic and her story impact. Her story and his story impact. The specific title is COVID Protection. It's a family affair. And just want to mention, some of you may be familiar with the Yale Cultural Ambassadors and the Yale Center for Clinical Investigation. We've been blessed to do a number of shows spotlighting these Yale persons' efforts in this regard. But the Cultural Ambassadors and YCCI continue to spread the message that fighting COVID-19 is a family affair. You may have some frenemies, you may have some family members, black sheep, dark sheep, white sheep that aren't, considered to be in your family, but this is a family affair show that involves everyone in the family doing their part. And on the show today, we're really blessed and honored to have two students who will share their vaccine experiences in a recent Yale Center for Clinical Investigation public service announcement. We're also going to be blessed to hear from their parents and what the parents had to kind of cogitate, deliberate, think about how to make the decision to have them vaccinated. Our guests today are Corinne Scott and Latoya Howard. Corinne is featured in the vaccine video that you're going to see shortly, and she's the daughter of Latoya. Latoya is a certified clinical research professional, and I'm sure a tremendous mom. Isn't that right, Latoya? And also we have a tremendous dad and his tremendous son, Reverend Durrell Blue and Makis Blue. Makis is also featured in the vaccine video, and as a son to Reverend Blue. And Reverend Blue is the presiding elder of the Rochester Syracuse District Senior Pastor, Memorial AME Zion Church in Rochester, New York, and also a cultural ambassador to the Yale Center for Clinical Investigation. We have two colleagues, companions, folks that have kind of kept me on the straight path from time to time. Reverend Elvin Clayton and Reverend Dr. Leroy Perry are also joining us. Reverend Clayton is the pastor of Walters Memorial AME Zion Church and cultural ambassador to the Yale Center for Yale Clinical Research Program, and Reverend Clayton and Reverend Perry are really kind of fascinating folks to kind of have, and really astute people as well. Let's jump right in, Reverend Perry and Reverend Clayton, because it's really important to remind people and just to kind of share with folks really about this project, this cultural ambassador project, and the, some would say motivation, but I'll say inspiration behind it. Reverend Perry would like to start.
Yes, Tom, thank you. And thank you for hosting the show. We, the cultural ambassadors who are partnering with YCCI, and we have really been making efforts in trying to get people vaccinated. And we realized in the campaigns that we have done with seniors and others that one of the missing links was the young people. And when the drug was approved for young people, we were ready to get the word out and get as many young people vaccinated as possible. And Yale opened up a doorway in Bridgeport for Reverend Clayton to host a vaccine clinic for young children. And then we realized that if we could just spotlight some of these young children who've gotten the vaccine, how this might help other parents and other young children to get it. So we're really happy to be here to kind of spotlight these young heroes and their parents in this great effort.
Reverend Clayton?
Thank you, Tom, and I'm just thrilled to be here today with these young stars and their parents, Latoya and Corinne and Reverend Blue and Makis. As Dr. Perry said earlier, the inspiration really come for the need for doing all that we can to get as many people vaccinated as possible, especially when the vaccine came available for the children 5 years, from 5 years to age 12. That was a big, big deal because children were getting sick with the coronavirus, and not only were they getting sick, but they were bringing it home. And some of those families had grandparents in the house who had underlying health conditions. So it's a great thing that this took place to not only help the children that could get sick, but also be a protection for the other person in the home, such as parents and grandparents who may have some other underlying health conditions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're going to, as I mentioned, we're going to see the videos shortly, and we have Corinne and Makis really here on screen to kind of, we'll get your autographs later, guys. We'll maybe have to email them or something. But Reverend Perry and Reverend Clayton, share with us a little bit about the importance of health messaging being appropriate, being targeted, being sensitive to people's ears. I mean, this is a strange world, a strange nation called America, and people hear things differently. But it's important to really speak to the audience, speak to the people's needs, and speak to to what they're receptive about. So tell our viewers about somehow the importance of we hear this term trusted messengers, but why it's even so increasingly important now when it comes to disseminating information.
Yes, Tom, I think that we are learning that there's so much disinformation out there and misdirecting the real science, ignoring the science. And so it is important that you do have trusted messengers who can go into the community and to address some of these misinformation that's been given through the internet. And at the same time, to try to work to find new ways of bringing the message to the people. So with our young ambassadors, that was one of our aims, was to get young ambassadors who could reach out to teenagers and that group to bring the message to them. Because as older ambassadors, we realized that we reach a certain population, but if we had some younger people, it would reach another population. And so now we're reaching even a better population. Mm-hmm. You can't get any better than grade school and have young people who are being spotlighted. I mean, what a message to their friends and to their community, not just from some old preachers here, but from some young people who are in the classroom who can say, let everyone know what it's like. And I think that's why this is such a great show today.
And Makis and Corinne, we're going to show the video in a second. But I wondered, Reverend, let me just go back. Reverend Clayton, you had an event at your church also. Let's highlight that before we go further. Reverend Perry had referred to it, but tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, before I talk about the vaccine clinic, during the infancy of the coronavirus, through the efforts of Tisha Johnson and our dean and others, we started with having town hall meetings very, very early on. And we had Dr. Oriema, the infectious disease specialist, who was head of the coronavirus, not ministry, but the coronavirus study at Yale. We had Dr. Smith, and we had so many of the doctors and nurses who were informing the community the truth and the science about this virus, so that if people really wanted to know the truth, it was before them. And not only did we use that way, but we also came on your show and other means of media. Now, in terms of the vaccine, at Walters, boy, look, if you vaccinate 1 or 1,000, it's great. And to see some of the little kids running around getting the vaccine, it was just amazing to see. You know, if you may not know, but I have a sweet tooth, and I had some donuts in the bag by the way of Sister Sunday. And one little kid asked, after I get the vaccine, will I get one of those donuts? So not only did he get a donut for himself, but every child that was in the clinic got donuts that day. Yes. So it was a great day. Some educational things took place. And so we have more people that are safe because of it.
Indeed, indeed. Harry, let's go to the 2 videos. And again, there are really 8 videos in the public service announcement series from YOCCI.
Hello, my name is Robin Anderson, and I am the pastor of the Blackwell AME Zion Church, and I'm also a YCCI cultural ambassador. I am here to encourage everyone that it is a family affair, that our children get vaccinated. That is so important, that every adult that's in their lives get vaccinated as well, that we make this a family affair no matter how old you are and no matter how young you are, that everyone in the family makes a commitment to get vaccinated. Then we will get to the other side of this pandemic. It is a family affair. Let's get vaccinated.
Because if you don't get it, then you may get sick, and then you don't want to get sick. So you gotta get the COVID shot.
I was scared too, but now I'm not, because it was only at the start pits, and it didn't hurt that much. So it's definitely something that needs to get done.
It only hurts for like 3 seconds. If you count 1, 2, 3, it'll be done.
We have one more, Harry, one more video also to show.
That was great.
It's with Makis and Reverend Blue. Maybe let me know, Reverend Harry, once you find it. Okay, here we go. Great.
Hello, my name is Darrell Blue, and I'm here with my son,
Makis.
And we wanted to take this opportunity to talk with you about going to get the COVID-19 vaccination. I am fully boosted, and I wanted to allow my son to take this opportunity to talk about his experience when he received his COVID vaccine.
Hello, I'm here to tell you that you should get the COVID-19 vaccine if you're not already vaccinated. I am fully vaccinated. I will confess that it was a bit of pain, but after that, I felt fine. Being fully vaccinated empowers me and helps me fight against the COVID-19 virus. If it does that for me, it should do the same for you.
Because if you don't get it, then you may get sick, and then you don't want to get sick. So you gotta get the COVID shot.
I was scared too, but now I'm not, because it was only at the start pits, and it didn't hurt that much. So it's definitely something that needs to get done.
So please, for our world and our communities, get the COVID-19 vaccine as soon as possible to help us survive this pandemic. Thank you.
I want to sign up to be. I want to sign up and be their agent. If I'll be knocking at their door now and recruiting you guys. Corinne and Makis, welcome and thanks so much. Thanks so much. Corinne, kick us off a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself. It's really good to see you. And what are some of the things you enjoy doing, and maybe perhaps what some of your hobbies, and kind of the same questions for Makis. But Corinne, let's hear from you.
Well, I take dance classes and I'm learning how to play guitar.
And who's your favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher? Ooh, this is a hard one. I'm gonna say both. I can't decide.
But you have two though.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I have Miss Michelle and Miss Sharon.
Excellent, excellent. Vegas, tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the things you enjoy doing, and maybe even some of your hobbies if you have any.
Well, my name is Makis, and I like play video games. I'm currently taking lessons on how to play saxophone,
Hmm.
and I enjoy drawing.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Corinne, tell us your favorite subject in school, and maybe why it is your favorite.
All of them too. They all have something to teach. That's
Oh,
important.
Wow.
you're a diplomat. I like that. I like that. What are some of the classes you're taking? What are some of the subjects? What are you studying in school these days?
Well, we study science, math, reading, and what else are we? Oh, geometry. We also study culture.
You're in graduate school? No, what grade are you in?
Third.
Geometry. Okay, okay. I can see why they got kicked me out of school when they did. Megan, how about you, Bill? What's cooking in terms of your favorite subject or et cetera?
My favorite subject is art.
Mm-hmm. And do you like to draw just landscapes or people or animals or?
I basically draw like all of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, next show you're gonna have to show some, display some, and maybe even put some on eBay or be a nifty kind of thing. The last, Megan and Corinne, again, thank you so much for being here. But the last couple of school years have really been, I would say, I mean, it's clear, but pretty unpredictable because of COVID. I just wonder from your perspective, what the pandemic is like for you in school. Has it impacted your other activities? Have you felt constrained? Just share with us a little bit about just really surviving and thriving and getting good grades during this situation, during the pandemic. What has it been like for these last 2 years? Corinne, would you like to start?
Sure. How it has been like, it has been the same, just we had to wear a mask and some new rules.
Mm-hmm. And Megan? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead to Corinne.
And that's really all.
Okay.
You were home for a while.
Yeah, we were home for a while.
And what was that like kind of being at home?
It was kind of like the classroom. They didn't send over stuff, but they taught us how to make the materials that we use in the classroom so we can use it at home. And we still did our basic lessons every day. Same thing.
Good. And Megas, what about you? Did your father and mother have you make the bed more or do more housework? What was it like kind of during this pandemic?
So the first year in third grade, it was completely virtual,
Mm-hmm.
and it just sent the stuff we would normally need home. So like Corinne said, we could just do the stuff we'd normally do in school at home. This year in fourth grade, it's almost like it was before the pandemic, except we're all having to wear masks, the different stuff for lunch and stuff like that. So it's almost the same. They just have like restraints because of the vaccine. I mean,
The videos you guys did were very, very persuasive. Were you kind of nervous, Corinne, when you saw the cameras being put in your face in the microphone?
No.
Oh, okay.
I like that. I actually like that.
It came across. It really did. It really came across personal. We really need you to kind of spread that word. And Megan, how about you? Are you nervous at all in being taped? Okay, all right. You guys are mature. I like that. Just before I go to the parents, I was curious, Corinne and Megan, you mentioned that from your standpoint, virtual learning versus in-person learning, you still felt you were able to kind of learn and not be not be handicapped. Is that fair to say, Corinne?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And Makis?
I think that's pretty.
All right. All right. What about during this stressful time? And again, the young spirit. I'm so in admiration of the young spirit being able to adjust and just know that life is going to be better even after today. But what's brought you any comfort and enjoyment during this time? And I kind of asked before what you'd like to do, but I just want to give you a chance to maybe say a little bit more about what brings you comfort or joy or happiness during this time. Corinne?
My most comfort is getting to see my family more because we all have to stay inside a little bit more. So I get to hang out with my family a little bit more. And also I get to lay in my bed more.
Good. Makis?
So one of the things that brought me comfort last year during the pandemic is the fact that I stayed home the whole day. So I didn't have to wait half an hour for my parents to come pick me up from the school. I would just stay home, and then when I got off soon, I said, I don't want to do it. Let's get in the bed.
All right, so you're able to manage your own schedule like that. But let's, in terms of the video, it was so impactful, Corinne and Makis, and just to hear your voices and your attitude and your optimism about it. But why did you want to participate? Were you paid $1 million, or Corinne, why did you want to participate in the video, and did you enjoy doing it?
I enjoyed doing it because I knew that more kids will want to get the vaccine, and because it doesn't hurt, they would think, maybe I should get it. I want to talk to my parents about this and I should get it. And also because I will make a difference. And also my mom did not tell me that there would be cameras everywhere. But still, I liked it. So.
Excellent. And Makis, why was it important for you to participate?
So, first of all, Tom, you're right. I should have got $1 million. But
right. It's coming, man. It's coming. Will you accept Bitcoin instead? I mean, as well. I mean, that's very profitable.
But to be honest, I feel like it's really important to survive the pandemic, because if we don't survive the pandemic, like, there would be just nothing else. But it's important for people to get the vaccine because that would decrease the amount of deaths that people are having. It would decrease the amount of people who are losing every day, and it will help people make it through the pandemic.
And that point is so profound. Corinne, and Makis, so just in terms of what Makis mentioned, did it hurt at all? Corinne?
Can you say that again? I didn't hear you.
Was it painful? Did it hurt at all? Were you afraid to have the vaccine?
I was excited, but it didn't hurt. It felt like a little pinch.
Little pinch.
Or a scratch that you'd use on your finger or something.
That's because you're brave. Absolutely. And Makis, did it hurt?
Yes. It hurt.
Well, women are stronger than us, Makis. So I'm glad you recognize that now, and that keep if you take anything away from this show, keep that in mind. That they definitely are. Did it hurt a lot, or just a little bit, or for a long time?
It left my arm kind of sore the rest of the day, but it got better quickly. So it was like a pinch, but it left it sore.
Yes. And Latoya and Reverend Blue, just before I come to you, I wanted to just ask Corinne and Makis also if some of their peers and their friends, what do you tell some of the younger folks in your classes, and even some of the older students who may be a little hesitant or maybe afraid of getting the vaccine? I'm just wondering what you might tell them. Corinne?
What I would say to them is that it doesn't hurt. And to be honest, if you get it, it will be a big help because, it's been about 2 or 3 years that the pandemic has going on. and it has gotten a lot more better, and a lot of people have got vaccines. So if you get it, it will be a bigger help to the community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Megas?
So what I say to the people who don't want to get the vaccine, I say, well, think about it this way. When I was getting the vaccine, I was nervous. My dad said, think about it this way, Mace. You're getting a little bit of pain to protect you from getting more pain that could possibly end you. So you're going through a little bit of pain to protect you from enduring more and worse pain.
Good point. Really good point. Really good point. Latoya, I mean, I don't want to discount this. The parental role is so important. And I'm sure you gave some thought to encouraging Corinne to kind of just help humanity, to help society. But what did you have any concerns in the beginning about the efficacy or the safety of the vaccine, and also why did you choose to allow Corinne to be vaccinated?
So I'm a research professional, and I've been working in clinical research for over 12 years. So when the pandemic, at the onset, I had been closely following it, as we all were, and looking at therapies and vaccination opportunities for us all. Our family had COVID, so we knew that it was important to obtain some protection at some point. I became fully vaccinated as soon as possible. And then when the opportunity for Corinne's age group to become vaccinated became available, we jumped at the opportunity. As a mother, you want to protect your child as much as possible. As parents, we all want that for our children. And so, we're always evaluating risk versus benefit. And so there's so much benefit to getting the vaccination. And we ultimately decided, after talking with Corinne, to get her vaccinated, and she was on board.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Reverend Blue.
Yes, just as Latoya said, one of the things for me was just making sure that I researched, and Reverend Perry mentioned it earlier. We had a lot of conversation with local health officials, trusted voices in our community. And so after having dialogue with them, me doing personal research, and then also knowing that the vaccination was not typically new. It was something that they had already taken and, made it better or be able to fight the current COVID-19. I was like, I was okay with it. And then I had received the vaccination. I didn't have any adverse effects. I'm thinking if it didn't do any harm to me, they're in clinical trials now with the children or for the children. And after conversation, basically, letting Makis and my daughter know this is something we're going to move forward with, and just, allowing them to ask any questions that they have.
Latoya and Reverend Blue, let me give you a chance to elaborate on the comments you've just made, because there could be some parents kind of listening in and again are on the fence, not sure what to say. And again, you have to each parent has to take into account the personality of their young person. So I know your answer will just be general, but what do you say to parents in terms of having that sit down discussion? Is it one discussion? Is it a series of discussions? Do you read a book together? Do you look at a video together? I'm just curious to kind of the methodology you might kind of share, some techniques you might share with parents that still are having difficulties persuading their young person to take the vaccine. Latoya, I'll start with you.
Sure. It's an ongoing discussion in our household, especially because of what I do every day. But as far as, giving parents pointers, I think children are probably more afraid of, if it will hurt. So Corinne had to take some convincing on her second booster, her second vaccination shot, because she was afraid of the needle. And so I think just having discussions about, again, the benefit of the vaccination and the really temporary moment of, I'm not going to call it pain, but discomfort, for the long-term benefit of having protection for yourself and your community is important. But I think that we probably talked about this on a daily basis. So Corinne's pretty comfortable and understands, and, she has a choice in it too. And I think it's important to have a discussion with your children and ultimately give them a say in what's happening in their bodies.
Excellent. Reverend Blue?
Yes, kind of following up on what Latoya said, Makis, he doesn't like needles. And so it was kind of having to convince and say, hey, you're going to have a moment of discomfort. And yes, it may sting or feel a pinch, but you're going to be okay, at the end. And so it was multiple conversations, and then really just allowing them to ask any questions, any reservations that they had. I mean, just as adults, we had a lot of adults as we were having town hall meetings who had the same reservations. So I'm thinking it's no different with with my child. So he should be afforded the same opportunity to ask whatever questions he has.
Corinne and Makis, is it fair to ask you, you might have heard that this issue in terms of health, public health might be with us for a while. And some folks are suggesting that we might have to get another shot down the road. Would you be willing to kind of get another, Corinne, to get another shot if you had to get another one in 6 months or another year or a year from now?
I would do that because I had it twice and it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It only hurts, like I said, for 3 seconds and it's out. It's done.
And Makis, if a year from now, it seems that we might have to get same way some people get flu shots on an annual basis and another annual shots, would you be willing to consider getting another shot if needed for your own protection? Good. And in spite of my not giving you the $1 million, but we can talk about that. Talk about that offline. Reverend Blue and Latoya, I want to ask you this question about the parental thing again, meaning you had to make the decision to allow your children to be even involved with this video. What was the kind of the inspiration or motivation or just desire in that regard? Latoya?
Yes. So I understand the power of messaging, and I think it's important for people in our community to see themselves in some of the PSAs. And as a former employee or staff member for the Yale Center for Clinical Investigation, I've maintained close connections and close ties to this Cultural Ambassadors program that I've loved so dearly over the years. And I think it's phenomenal work that they're doing. And so when we were asked to participate and work with our school, we happily jumped in and we're excited about the opportunity.
Excellent. Well, definitely thank you for your commitment. Reverend Blue.
Yeah, it's important to be able to send the right messages. And as a faith-based leader, not only for my local congregation, but also in the community, I knew how important it was to number one, to be vaccinated myself, also to offer the same protection to my children. But if anyone had any reservations or questions, we could point them in the right direction. So that was the point of doing the research, having trusted voices, being in community. And I think that, as people approached us with anything that they needed, we could better support those persons. So I just wanted to make sure that I could be a resource to other people. So it was important for me.
Excellent. Now we have two additional strong ambassadors with us. Reverend Perry and Reverend Clayton, thanks for your patience, but I think you agree, it was just so helpful to hear from the young Turks, the vanguard of the revolution, the folks that are going to really enable us to kind of be better as a society, as a world. But Reverend Clayton and Reverend Perry, I got to tell you, even personally, from a full transparency standpoint, I have friends that still who are not going to get vaccinated, who refuse to. So to ask this question is not a one-off. This question needs to be asked, and we need to respond to it daily, 24/7, 365 from my perspective. So I guess I was curious, how do we continue to build vaccine confidence among folks and parents, just people in general? And what are some of the things we need to keep in mind when reaching out to them? Because again, the hesitancy is still prevalent, still exists in some sectors. Reverend Perry, would you like to start?
Yes, Tom. I think that, first of all, let me say to Corinne and Makus, Reverend Clayton and I were a part of the Yale trial for the vaccine under Dr. Oniyama. And we went in not knowing whether or not we got the vaccine or a placebo. We went in and he said, we're going to do this because we wanted to say to our community that it was important that we take the vaccine, and it was important for us to demonstrate that we weren't afraid, as Reverend Blue points out, that if it can help somebody else, then we as leaders should try to do this to help other people by taking the vaccine. And let me say to you guys, the thing that you mentioned most was the thing I feared the most. It wasn't the vaccine, it was the needle. I was like a big baby. When I saw that needle, I closed my eyes, I had my fists all tight, and the nurse said, "It's okay. It's not gonna hurt you. Relax. It's okay." And so we did it, and we did it again, and we did it again. And I think that what you guys are doing and what we're doing is the same thing. We're trying to show people by example that it's safe. We're trying to encourage other people to say, you know what, it's not really all about us, but it's a family affair. That we are working to make sure that other members of our family are safe and other members of our community are safe. So that's important. It's altruistic, it's important. And I congratulate you and thank you for being a part of this study, because you have made history. You have made history as young people. Yeah, when the history books are written and they come back and they see this, you'll be 20 or 30 years old and you'll be smiling and say, yeah, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
I was a leader then and I'm a leader now. Amen.
Amen. Reverend Clayton.
Yes, Tom.
In terms of overcoming hesitancy.
Pardon me?
In terms of overcoming hesitancy, which is still, unfortunately, still in some people's minds.
Hopefully, the audience and people we know will listen to your show. Hopefully, they will hear what these young children have had to say about getting vaccinated. But also, we have a great confidence in this work because the science have showed us that it's safe, it's effective, and it still saves lives. So those persons who have not been vaccinated, we urge you to do your research, talk to credible people, talk to your physician, and get it done, because it may not keep you from getting coronavirus, but you will not get it in a way where you'll be sick enough to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful tool. Remember, I stopped counting at about 650,000 people in this country. So it's still raising havoc. So let us do all we can as a people to get vaccinated.
Reverend Blue, just as Reverend Perry and Reverend Clayton were talking, it occurred to me that, and when you referenced your due diligence in the past, should a parent, is it still incumbent upon you to continue to do your research? Because again, this is an evolving science. Do you still feel compelled as a parent to still research, get information? And how do you go about that? Because I think people, even if they made the decision, get the 1 shot, 2 shot, the booster, et cetera, but they still should be informed and become civically engaged. But I was just curious if you feel compelled in the same way to continue your research and your analysis.
Yes, just like in any situation, you need to continue to educate yourself and stay up on this information. We're not out of the pandemic. And as you said earlier, Tom, one of the things that they are even recommending looking at is the possibility of a 4th booster, well, a fourth shot, but it would be second booster. And so, yes, we have to continue to do our due diligence to make sure that we know the latest information and that we're following the science. And, because people are going to continue to ask questions, because I have individuals I know, they got the first 2 shots, but they're like, I don't know if I want to get the booster. So that's part of the continual cycle that people like, well, how often are we going to have to get these? Will we have to get these like we have to get a flu shot annually? And so I think that's the significance of staying up with the latest research so that way we can be able to at least answer some of those questions or point the people in the right direction. Looking at the CDC, WHO, all of that information, and like we said earlier, credible sources that we can point people to if they have any reservations or further questions.
And LaToya, it's the same question. In terms of just continual personal, family, world education for us to get through this and to even be to be better as a humanity in the future. So what are you engaged with in terms of keeping your brain cells operating on a full capacity given this pandemic?
Yeah, sure. Well, as I said before, I live and breathe research every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do stay close to, I watch the news, but I also look at the actual data that's coming out for some of the research. And I also want to emphasize again that we're still in the pandemic. And I think that some people feel with some of the recent changes in mask mandates that we're in the clear, and we're not. We still have to do everything that we can to protect ourselves against this ongoing virus. So yes, we'll continue to follow the data and keep ourselves educated and make the decisions that are best for our families and our community.
Absolutely. And Corinna and Makis, by being involved and being a video star now, et cetera, has that increased your interest in science at all? How is this COVID thing, do you think, has it caused you to be more interested in science or history or humanity? I'm just curious, Corinne, if this has caused you to read any different types of books, just how it's impacted your mind, if at all.
I have been interested in every subject for as long as I can remember, but the COVID-19 or virus definitely makes me want to learn more about it, so I can kind of get this idea of what it is, because sometimes I think the wrong things, and I think this is what COVID-19 is, but it's kind of the opposite. So I kind of want to learn more about it, and I kind of don't, because I kind of don't want to learn more about it, but I kind of do.
Make it just before I come to you, Corinne, what you just mentioned is so profound because there are challenges to knowledge, and sometimes it can create fear, sometimes it can create optimism. So I really appreciate your answer. That's really a correct answer. Makis, how about you? Has being involved in this issue caused you to read any different books, have an additional interest in science? Just curious of the impact.
And not really.
Not really?
Corinne said she's right. If I know more about the COVID vaccine, it might make me regret ever looking at it.
And again, this I appreciate your honesty, and Reverend Perry and Reverend Clayton and the adults, that is the dilemma. This is an educational issue also in terms of the impact of curriculums, education moving forward, teaching methodology, the whole 9 yards. So much is at stake. Everybody, we have about 5 more minutes, so if there's something that we've neglected or that's burning on your heart, kind of let us know, kind of jump in.
Tom, I'd like to just say this real quick. I'm not sure about Makis and Green's getting shots as young people, but when I was going to school, elementary school, we got shots. We got polio shots, we got measles and mumps. And so and we didn't know what was in the shot. We just did it because the school required it and our parents told us. Now we got 3 presidents who are standing up before the world and saying, it's important that you take the vaccine. I don't know what else we can do to convince people other than by example and by the science to help them understand how important this is, not just for themselves, but for everyone.
Yes.
And again, these young people are brave, but they got parents behind them. And that I think is key, is that we have to reach the young people, but we really need to reach their parents to help them to understand the importance of this. And Dr. Oniyama had said to me after the study, he said that the vaccine may have more curative powers in it than we know right now. He said they're researching to show that, that the people who get this may get some other added benefits, and that's a plus. So again, I just want to encourage everyone to look at the science and to look at community. How do we keep our community safe? And it's so important. And this is Black History Month. We want to survive not just the month, but we want to survive as African Americans in this land. We need to be in touch with the science to move forward.
Absolutely.
To Dr. Perry's point, when our church was a vaccination site, that's one of the things we partnered with the county and the city of Rochester. And we had filled up all the slots, but one of the other sites that they had another clinic at had additional vaccines available. So we had to make sure that they didn't go to waste. Because once you open them, you got to use them. So we started going door to door, and it was amazing how once we began to knock on doors, have conversation with people, they were literally stopping what they were doing, going to the church to be vaccinated. And so I think it is, as Dr. Perry said, it's being in community, having conversation with individuals and helping them to see that, there are positive benefits to taking the vaccination and just being available. I think that's one of the important points, just being available so we can answer the questions, because we know social media is a big thing nowadays, and that's where most people are turning to for information. So if you have someone who is a celebrity or others who don't believe in it, a lot of people are listening to that messenger, back to what LaToya said earlier. And so we have to reinforce a positive message and be a voice for vaccinations.
And we have about 3 more minutes, so if anybody has any thoughts to jump in or questions we haven't asked.
Yes, Tom,
go ahead, Reverend Clayton, please.
Just going back a bit, LaToya mentioned how times are changing. We're beginning to relax the mask mandate. We must keep our guards up. Just because it's in the air that it's okay to be masked in public buildings. We as a people, as ambassadors, must make sure that we do all we can to keep as many people safe as possible. That's just my personal thought about that we should do this a little longer until we have scientific evidence that it's time to unmask.
Absolutely. As you know, you might have probably heard that Queen Elizabeth got COVID. And if a person like that you would think would have every degree of protocol and safety and security around her, how we still are in the midst. Corinne and Magus, we have about 3 more minutes. I want to ask you what's kind of on your heart and mind. Is there any one celebrity, Corinne, is there like a singer or a celebrity that you think could persuade your classmates to take the vaccine?
I do not know any celebrities, but anytime there's people have been saying if you wish on an eyelash, then it will probably come true. So I just wish to me a celebrity every single time, but I'm not going to tell you which celebrity.
Oh, but
it would jinx it.
If a celebrity could persuade your class, who do you think it would be? Who's your favorite celebrity?
Beyonce. Easy.
So should Beyonce do a video just encouraging folks? In your opinion, Corinne?
You like that?
Yes, I would like that very much.
Like that very much? Good. Well, Reverend Perry will reach out to her at the end of this call, and and because he has a lot of connections through the AME Zion Church. Megas, how about you? Is there, in terms of trusted messengers, are there any celebrities or athletes you think that could be more persuasive to encourage people to at least consider getting the vaccine?
I don't know, maybe like sports players, like LeBron James, Michael Jordan, people like that, people who people really know.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrities like those people would be some of the best bets to persuade people to get the vaccine.
Okay, we have about 2 more minutes, and so if anybody wants to jump in, but Megas, I want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Megas, your daddy is a celebrity.
Recording.
He is a celebrity. As you know, Megas, LeBron early on in the last 7 months was not clear about whether we should get vaccinated. So you had people like LeBron publicly state his hesitance to get vaccinated on more than one occasion. But I'm glad you mentioned his name because people know him. But it is really, in terms of trusted messengers, whether the trusted messenger should be your father, your mother, or your guardian, or whether it should be a so-called celebrity. So Reverend Perry's point is really, really important in terms of who should we listen to and who should we follow. Any last words, guys? Because again, we have about, I would say, 30 seconds.
On a lighter note,
good.
On a lighter note, we have Corinne that's studying guitar and Makis who's studying saxophone. I can bring him on down here to Bridgeport and put him in the band.
and we could do a song on getting back why people should remain healthy. Yeah, they could compose a song. Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure they. Go ahead, Doc.
I think you guys deserve an allowance or a visit to the Cheesecake Factory or something, because you did a marvelous job today.
You certainly did. And you can compose a song for my show. I really want to compose a song and play it on this show. So I extend that invitation right now. Reverend Clayton can be backup. So we're backup. LaToya, I see you smiling. Oh, the music is coming, so we're out, everybody. Corinne, Makis, thank you so much. Thank you, LaToya, Reverend Blue, Reverend Clayton.
Another rhyme, another rhythm for y'all to listen. I'm never quitting on my mission. I'm gonna roll with what I'm giving. Got some ambition, this new edition, filling positions.
This is Harry Droz, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM.
In the moment you stressing, but you gonna be counting blessings. And I know that for certain. Keep on working, open curtains, haters swerving, cause they ain't ready for your final version. I'm never gonna give